OTOY put together a short movie here, a CGI real-life blend film using absolutely astounding technology, things that shouldn't really be possible, but now are, with regards to the blending of CGI, compositing in these things. And what they've done here is really mind-blowing. Yes, I have already watched it, so just full disclosure for you, this is not a first impressions or a reaction. This is more like a mini review, and you're going to get some impressions and some details on what's going on here. They teased this with Yeoman Colt, who you may remember from TOS The Cage. She was wearing a Kelvin Timeline outfit, though, when she was looking at Captain Kirk's body, who you may remember was on screen in Picard Season 3. Remember where they walked by in Daystrom Station, and you can see that they have James T. Kirk's body? Yeah, what was up with that? I believe this is a official licensed Paramount product, so I don't know. Is it canon? That's up to you. Please don't destroy this video, Paramount. This is a review, okay? This is transformative. You cannot enjoy this video in the way it was intended to be enjoyed by watching this. For that matter, close this video right now. Do not watch this video unless you've already seen this. Stop now. Go watch it. If you have any interest in TOS, Kirk, the TOS movies, go watch this. Although there's an overlap between Kelvin Timeline and this. So the big ask here is, when they were making this, can the people who understand Kelvin Timeline fully get on board with this? Is there people who only like TOS movies and TOS Kirk and that kind of thing and don't really like that Kelvin stuff? Are they going to have a match? Is there going to be a Venn diagram where they overlap, and in the center here we have unification? Why am I saying that? Remember how I said Colt wore a Kelvin Timeline outfit in the teaser? I looked at that video that OTOY put out earlier, and in the comments someone said, why is she wearing a Kelvin Timeline outfit? OTOY came back and replied with their own comment. They said, that means something, and my antennas went up. What? That means something? How does the Kelvin Timeline play into this? We're going to find out. But you better have watched this first. This is Unification 765-874. Let's go. And we're going to be pausing here, and we're going to be looking around. We're going to be jumping around. We're going to be stopping. This cannot work as its own video. You cannot watch this and get the full experience. Go watch it yourself. It's really amazing what they did. With that out of the way, let's check it out. How we deal with death is at least as important as how we deal with life. So true. Okay, this was very confusing for me. I thought this was Captain Kirk for a second, but it's not. This is Gary Mitchell, famous character that everybody loves and keeps trying to bring back, but never has came back on screen in canon as far as I know. He shows up in the comics. Colt, saucer, from the Galaxy class, and there's Kirk's body. When I saw this, I thought this was inside the Enterprise J. I thought that. If you've seen what OTOY has been doing with the Enterprise J and kind of like reimagining it, I thought this was inside it, but I don't know. There's no way for me to really tell, because I think this is before. This must be after Generations, because they were looking at where Kirk's body was. They got the saucer from that planet. What was it, Viridian 3? And then they said the same thing. Like, that was Star Trek Generations, right? So we're trying to say that's after Generations. So I don't know. Is this after 6 and before Generations, or is this after Generations? How did they get his body back? I mean, they did it in Picard Season 3, but that was Prime Timeline. And then, as you see now, he has to go to the Kelvin Timeline. I don't know who these people are. And the CGI here is absolutely incredible. There's Saavik. Okay. I believe that is her original actress returning. That's Spock's son, I think. How much time has gone by? Right now, Kirk's just thinking, like, what year is it? How did I get back here? And nobody says anything. That's what's so interesting about this. After I watched the whole thing, I realized why that made sense. This is a spiritual and like esoteric journey. It's not a scientific, harsh one. This is about your feelings, right? But in a good way this time. What could they do, right? What kind of dialogue could they realistically have here? This blew my mind. This is how the Kelvin timeline plays in. This blew my mind. This is Yor from Star Trek Discovery. This was a character who they said in Star Trek Discovery came from the Kelvin timeline to the Prime timeline. He can go back and forth. So that's how this plays into it. I don't know if they were building this up for this many years or it's something now that they just realized they could do. But he can go between the timelines. And they kind of make him look creepy. And this is how they portrayed, like, going between Kelvin and Prime. This is how they did it. And it's very strange. But very cool. I watched this and I was just thinking, this is straight out of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's straight out of it. Being in this ethereal realm where you see your past self and your older self. If you've seen the end of 2001: A Space Odyssey, you'll know exactly what I mean. This was amazing. See, he's seeing... The young self is seeing the middle self, which then looks at the old self. There's like 3 different Kirks here, actually. And we're seeing them, and we're seeing him see himself. I'm not sure what exactly this is supposed to mean, but it's all very incredible. This is probably just an exercise to show what they can get away with their CGI. This is not William Shatner. This is actually a different actor with William Shatner like smeared over him CGI wise. It's actually, I think it's really incredible. It almost breaks the barrier for me. It almost does. There's a few moments where I can tell this is not Kirk's body. When they're not looking at his face, I can tell it's not Kirk. I can tell that. But really though, man, we're close. We're close to just having them come back. We're so close now. But do you want that? Like, this is endorsed by William Shatner. I believe William Shatner is a producer on this. So this has blessing. But when they're gone, I don't know. And the Nimoy estate was involved with this as well. So, you know, I don't know. We got my main man here. We got Captain Kirk. And look who else is coming in this scene. That's right, Spock is in this as well. Because we just went to the Kelvin timeline. There's that little case. That's from Star Trek Beyond. So this is after Star Trek Into Darkness, but before Star Trek Beyond. So Yor brought back Captain Kirk either before Generations or after Generations to the Kelvin timeline to meet the original Spock, who of course went to the Kelvin timeline and then died. But this is before he died. And this is actually, the Spock here is more believable than the Kirk for me. It's just a little bit more because he's more static. He moves less. But man, it's close. It's close. You know what the uncanny valley is, right? We are so close to getting out of it now. I can feel it. We're almost there. Like, I believed this Spock. I believed it. Just as I believed Spock was actually in Star Trek Resurgence, that game. I believed it. But that was just voice. This is visual. And this is not actually Leonard Nimoy. This is somebody else with Leonard Nimoy's face mapped on, and he did the eyebrow thing. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. I don't know where we are now in the Kelvin universe. Is this like New Vulcan or something? Maybe. I'm not sure. Because Vulcan, of course, was destroyed in the Kelvin timeline. Again, lots of spoilers here. And they just kind of look out at this sunset. Or is it a sunrise? I don't know. But anyway, this is changing of light. And it's like the passage of time. and we're seeing time go by, and we're given like another goodbye for these characters, if that makes sense. It's really incredible. Absolutely mind-blowing they did here. 765874 Unification. And then here's the credits for Leonard Nimoy. Gary Lockwood came back. Gary Lockwood came back for this. That guy who was in the very beginning of TOS, yeah, he's back. Maybe they scanned his face and they younged him up. I don't know, but he's Gary Mitchell. Music by Michael Giacchino. And that was another problem here. I know I didn't play music here, but when I watched this, I did want some more classic music. Originally I wanted dialogue, but after a time I learned that they didn't need the dialogue. I changed my mind. I'm not sure they need it. And these people have done an amazing job. I can't believe how good this looks. We are so close to just having them come back. If you want that, that's your opinion. Where are we here? Okay, look. The omnipotent being Gary Mitchell turned into some kind of psychic. I think this is where Captain Kirk died in Star Trek Generations. There's that bridge or something. I'm not sure where that is. Somebody getting a mind meld. Colt from TOS The Cage. And then, look, okay. Somebody is touching something. Is this Colt? What is he touching? And then she's getting a mind meld. Look, this is the Kelvin timeline version of Colt, but she doesn't look different. So I'm not quite sure what that means. Maybe Colt went to the Kelvin timeline. I'm now realizing now that Yor could have taken Colt to the Kelvin timeline and showed that this could work, and how you could, if you went and, I don't know, how is this scene in the Kelvin timeline if this is the exact same monitors that we had in Picard Season 3? That's what I'm not getting. And this was in the teaser, so I knew Kirk would come back. It was just obvious at that point. And they said the Kelvin timeline outfit on Colt was important. And here we are. Is this after Kirk comes back to the Kelvin timeline or not? So this is the Prime timeline. It must be. I don't know where this is. Like, if you have any ideas where that is, or if that's significant. Like I said before, my first instinct was this is the Enterprise J, but that doesn't... I don't know if Saavik could be alive by that time. So this could be Generations Kirk. It looks a lot like it. I don't know. I'm not sure about who these people are. What is the significance? This looks like it could... I'm seeing like maybe it could be a dress uniform on this guy on the right, but... Because it does look like the dress uniforms we saw in the Star Trek TNG movies. Again, here's Saavik. And you can tell it's Saavik. And I'm assuming this is Spock's son. Nobody says anything, but you can hear their mouth move, kind of. So you can tell that the movies, that this short movie is not silent. It actually has sound taken from, like, either the stage, the scene, or it's ADR'd in. I don't know. Here's where it gets crazy. You see he's wearing the type 1 TNG outfit. Why is he wearing that now? I'm not sure. And they made him look creepy. Like, why did they make him look kind of scary? Like, the way he's standing there is a little bit strange. He has no emotion. He gives Kirk an old badge. This Your character was in Star Trek Discovery, and it was this moment where they mentioned that he came from the other timeline, and it was like this big shocking moment. Like, whoa, like, hold on, you can go between them like that? Like, and not just Spock can go between them? Who else can go between the timelines? Right? Maybe that's where this sparked the idea for this whole thing years ago. I don't know. Like, I have no idea how long this has been in development. Kirk gets transported to this interdimensional realm. He sees his old self in a reflection. This is just incredible. Like, if I could go back in time and take this screenshot, would people know that it wasn't real? Would they know? Could you, like, even tell that there was something wrong with it? I don't know. That would be the ultimate test, but we don't have a time travel machine in any sense. We're not we can't go between timelines and stuff like that. And I do wonder if there's time, like, manipulation here going on. Remember, for Saavik to be this old, a lot of time had to go between generations. Well, when Kirk went through the Nexus, arrived at that planet at the same time as Picard, died there, did his body end up in TNG time? I think so. They get his body in the prime timeline, bring it to Daystrom Station, but in between that time, did somebody somehow did this stuff happen with there's a mystery here that, frankly, I don't know if I want it answered. I don't know if I want to know. It's trying to tell you the plot through the props. It's a prop plot, and I think that's the right way to go. The more I watched it, I feel like it's right. I feel like it was right to do that. What kind of dialogue could you realistically have? Nothing. I don't think there's anything to say. The more I thought about it. And we meet Spock again in the Kelvin timeline, right before Star Trek Beyond, because of course he died before Star Trek Beyond. And then Star Trek Beyond, Spock saw him in that little photo. That's what's in that photo. That thing on the desk, that's actually a picture from like Star Trek 5 or something. I don't know. Or the end of Star Trek 6, I can't remember. But Spock looks at that in the Kelvin timeline. The Kelvin timeline Spock. So right now there is 2 Spocks in this world. But of course, the prime timeline Spock is the one we are concerned with. We look out, and I don't know what happens after this. Because somehow Kirk has to go back to the prime timeline so he can end up at Daystrom Station. I mean, do the screens showing James T. Kirk at Daystrom Station actually mean that he's there? What if that's not what that means? What if those are screens that Daystrom Station, somebody there snuck out, like smuggled from the Kelvin timeline? Your guess is as good as mine. There's lots of shenanigans going on. When you involve timelines and stuff like that and people going through time, anything could be happening here. But I'm thankful we got this to happen one last time, even if we had to stretch reality a little bit and use some timeline, like I said, timeline shenanigans. We finally got what we wanted. And at this moment, I was watching it and I did I did have a little moment to myself when I was watching it. I usually don't get all misty-eyed over characters. I get misty-eyed over ships because I'm a little bit of a robot like that. But this was something happened here when I was watching this. I'll say that the first time. And I'm just going to let the credits roll here. And look, everybody needs to go watch this themselves. For Leonard Nimoy. Yep. What do you think? This was from OTOY. Star Trek created by Gene Roddenberry. I believe this is official Paramount material. Is it canon? I don't know. Lawrence Selleck and Sam Witwer, I believe those two are actually the bodies portraying Spock and Kirk, with the faces married onto their body in post-production. What do you think? Are we at the point where they could come back? Are we at the point where Kirk could appear again? I don't know. Like, how would you do it? Where would he appear? I'm not sure. But, frankly, I'd be perfectly happy if this is the last we see of him. And the fact that I'm saying the last we see of him without any reservations should tell you how far this has come. It feels like I saw him. It feels like Captain Kirk was in this, even though he technically wasn't. It's like I said before, it's getting over the hump. We're breaking the boundary. So again, props to everyone who put this together. The CGI quality is absolutely incredible. It's really proving how far we've come. Just in my own lifetime, which is really unbelievable. Yeah. Maybe there's a way. If we can, I don't know, have a Star Trek Enterprise come back. We can have, Kirk come back. Maybe we can do these things. Maybe we can have the old Prime timeline kind of reappear. As in, 66 to 2005, whenever it was. Maybe we can do it again. I don't know. Maybe the CGI is going to make it possible. Do we want that? I don't know. I love to reminisce. I love the classic characters, of course, but we got to move on too. We got to move on. New is good. We need the next generation. Who's the new Kirk? Who's the new Spock? I want to know. Unification. Copyright OTOY. All rights reserved. Please don't take down this video. Go watch it. From the people who brought you all those bridges and stuff. And remember when we were looking at that? And we're looking at the CGI ships and all that? OTOY, they're not going to know the park again.